I'm going to go through a quick overview of the state service operations piece. I'll talk about kind of what each part looks like, and then we're going to go through a potential work process that's going to come through. So state service operations, as I pointed out, it is fully web-based. I'm in Opera browser in this case, but I could easily be in any other browser that I want. And it's set up, I'm an admin, and it's set up to where I can go and look at a dashboard. And this dashboard will show me at a high level all of my different service stuff for the day or the week as things come up. I'm using sample data. You see a lot of zeros there because of that reason. But with your live data, you're going to see all your invoices and your preventive maintenance agreements. And then down below, all of your work orders and things that you're billing out. And you can create your own inquiries in here as well. So I can customize and say, hey, show me everything unassigned, or show me everything that is in a certain status or certain amounts. Maybe as a service manager, I only want to see work tickets that are over a certain dollar amount total that are coming through the system, and maybe manage an inquiry for that. I'm going to come back to the dispatch board in a minute. I am going to jump over here to assignments and just briefly say your technicians and the way they work in the software will typically live in this assignments page, that and the work orders themselves. This assignments page is not just a place to see the work orders and the things they need to do, like today, Friday, I have these 2 work orders, I've already done one. But it's also their time card. I could see I did 1 hour of work already earlier today and 4 hours on Tuesday, and I had a vacation on Monday. And all this ties in. And we'll come back for time in a minute, but this is a place, a go-to, and all up that your technicians can see and access. And everything will size properly depending upon the device. So I am working off a laptop, and so it's a little bit wider, and you see some white space. But if I'm working off a tablet, that white space will shrink. You'll get a nice clean look there. And if you're on a smartphone, it'll actually zoom in and rearrange all the buttons to nice previous and next, and everything cleans up. We'll show this again in a minute when we talk about work orders, because we'll have a nice little button set up for there. So here's the workflow I'm going to go through. I'm going to assume that a technician or a customer has been given access to our customer site. And I'm in fact going to go ahead and log into that right now. This customer is going to take a look and see some of the stuff on their site, and they're going to create a work order. That work order will then be dispatched out by your dispatcher, and then we'll have the technician fill out the work order and submit their time. And with this, we should see most of the software as it relates to state service operations. So this is the customer portal that they can log in. Your logo here means that when they log in, they will see your logo. They'll see the name of your company on there. It'll look like it's your website. They can see all the different locations that they might go to, and with each one, they can come over and take a look at the different equipment that's being worked on. In this case, I have a furnace that is for the Memorial Civic Center here. If they click on any of their equipment, they could see the work orders that went to it, what types they were, issues, what their cost was, and you could turn off costs if you don't want them to see it. But it's a nice way that they could look in and say, hey, this has actually been profitable. It's not having any issue accessing. If it is something that's not being profitable, hey, this heater keeps breaking, it's costing me a ton of money, let me call you up and let's buy a new one and have you guys install it for me. It's nice information they can see there. I can also go to my service request section to see all of the different service requests that have ever been put out. And if I wanted to get in more detail, let's say this breaker trip one that recently had happened on open, or let's go to a completed one. I can always pull up my service requests that I had done previous and see the notes in there. And if it had been invoiced, I'll be able to see the invoice. And this just gives a place where your customers can get that better customer service from you. They're able to see information without having to call you, without having to take up your phone time, and not have to spend any time on theirs. It's at their leisure on the net. On top of this, they can request their own service. So clicking the request service here brings up the ability for me to say, Memorial Civic Center is the location. I have a problem where my power, let's say it's getting cold outside. Let's say our heating's out. And if you say, by the way, other things that might come up here. If you're property manager, you can have your tenants be able to come in here and say, hey, my refrigerator's not running, or my sink's broken. You can put these things so your tenants can enter that information, or you can do any type of bit where you want your end customer, whoever that might be, to enter this in. Priority is pretty high because it's getting cold, and I can then say heater went out last night. Something simple, submit the request. That request now can be tracked by the customer at any point by just going into this work order here that's created. And we have now also created a unassigned work ticket in the dispatch board. If I open up Sage Service Management, let's go ahead and look at Memorial Civic Center here. I've also created a work order right here. This is live. Everything that happens in this cloud system is happening live in your Sage 300 database. You'll see as I put in the labor and the notes and all the hours, those are happening live. No import, no export, and no delay. And as I come into my dispatch board here, I can see an unassigned work ticket that I can then assign out to whomever. And I'm going to actually assign this out to myself with a quick click and drag up to Vincent Pate there. This dispatch board works in tandem or can replace the one in service management. You don't have to pick and choose. You can use whichever one you prefer at any given time. But what this does is it gives you a little bit more graphical feel to it. You get a map, and I apologize, I got some stuff in 2 different locations of the United States here. But this map will let you ping and see where you're located at and where your service tickets are going to be at. So as a dispatcher trying to send out to my technicians, I can see right from the map kind of the path they're going and dispatch them out to the appropriate person. We can see all your work orders here and just click and drag anything. So if I have an unassigned work ticket from Diamond Vogel here that I want to put on the Jim, I just click and drag it up there and he'll have that assigned out to him. And then we can, with a couple clicks, notify them, let them know that there's work out there for them. If I want to switch to a week view or a 2-week view or a month view, it's just a single click away. And this gets me that full picture of everything without having to, work with what service management might give us. We can see, hey, I'm scheduling out a month in advance. These people want some work out there. I can see my whole schedule, color-coded based on status and priority. I can create a work order from here as well. You're always in the ability to create a work order as a dispatcher, regardless if you're in Sage 300 or if you're in the cloud. So we've just assigned out that work order. I'm going to go ahead and change hats here and become a technician. I'm looking at my assignments for today, and I'm just going to go ahead and flip over to today only. I can see the heater went out last night. We'll just go ahead and say this is the next one I'm doing. I skipped my last one for whatever crazy reason. And I'm going to come out here and do this work order. Now, before I click on the work order, I might say, hey, I was just at Memorial. Let me click and look at their history and see if there's anything here that is going to trigger any red flags or make me realize I have to go pick up some parts before I head over there. We have the full history. Technician can click here and see all the work order tickets that have ever been assigned to it. They can drill down and get details. I can see if there's any consistent themes going on. And in fact, in this case, there is. The heater keeps going out. This is a great example for me to bring up to the customer when I get there and say, hey, your heater keeps going out. Would you like me to do more? In fact, before I even head over there, I might give them a quick call or call the office and maybe take care of something as in getting a new heater coil that I'm pretty much going to need at this point. History there is very helpful. Coming in, I can see what equipment might be working on, a furnace. I can see site details with a map of where I'm going. If we have any outstanding quotes out there, and this is another piece that we'll get into where we can sign quotes out and get them updated and taken care of so we always know if there's any revenue out there to be had. We can put in notes. We can enter in forms. We do a lot of safety checklists. We're a very safe company. We can see our service agreements, if any, are in the system, and all the attachments. These are pictures taken, things like that.